Blue. Look at Blue. He's like, yeah, look at me. Aster's so pooped. This dog is like 9. Aster is 2. He has way more energy than my dog. He's like a little like choo-choo. He just goes. He just goes. Huh, bud? He loves to be pet. It's all he ever wants to do. Yeah. So the number one thing that people don't do just because they don't think it's needed or whatever is they don't add trim. Trim is really cheap. Anybody can install trim. They have tons of different ones at Home Depot. It's not very expensive, and it just makes your room look so much more expensive, and it will actually greatly increase the value of your home, because when people walk in it, they're gonna be like, wow, it looks so like well done, like the person that built this actually cared, and therefore it will actually add value. They won't even realize that it's because of the trim. They'll just think it looks really like upscale. So have trim, make sure it's at least like 3 inches, and have it on your baseboard, and you can also have it up on your ceiling too, especially in like your dining room. It just adds contrast, and it will adds another level of depth to your wall, and also around your door frames too. Make sure you have like a nice good heavy trim. So that's number 1. Number 4 is tan. Everybody uses tan, and the reason they use tan is because when contractors build homes, they default to tan because it's safe. First of all, I want to point out gray is safer than tan. You can do a lot more with gray than tan. So if you're like in a pinch and you don't know which color to choose, everybody thinks, I'll pick tan because it's safe. Pick gray because it's safer. And I'm going to tell you why. When you have tan, you have to have cool colors to contrast it in your room. Tan is a warm color. It's a combination of white, red, and yellow. And red and yellow are both very hot colors. You think of the sun, you think of those, they're hot colors. So you want to be able to contrast that in your room, and I see so many examples where people, they have a tan and then they're like, well, I gotta match the tan, so I'm gonna have like this super dark red like furniture wood, and then I'm gonna have like warm wooden floors, and it's too much warm, and it just tends to look, oh no, Blue's upset because Aster won't play with him. Number 3 is picking a gloss. He's so funny. He's like the creepy old man from Family Guy. He like constantly wants to help my dog. He's our stray we found. We're working on getting him a home right now. Huh, Blue. Yeah, we'll get you a home. Okay, sorry, that's what we were saying. Number 3 is picking a gloss. So when you go to pick out your paint, they're gonna ask you, do you want a gloss or a matte paint? And almost everybody picks gloss because they think shiny is gonna look fancier. And it's the exact opposite. It will make your walls look like they're sweating. Never, ever, ever pick gloss unless you're doing wallpaper. You can do shiny wallpaper if it has like a gold or like a silver in it. You can do shiny, but with matte is gonna look much better as a backdrop. Always remember you want your walls to be an understated backdrop to the rest of your room. You don't want people to walk in your room and their eyes immediately go to your wall. You want them to see the cool vase or the cool piece of furniture in your room. That's just gonna make it look so much better. See, if we pet him, he's just so much happier. Alright, let's see, number 2 is, and this one pisses me off, is popcorn walls. It's worse, it's almost worse than popcorn ceilings. And the reason I hate it the most is because it's laziness. It's not like negligence. It's just your contractors being lazy, and what will happen is you'll be going and you'll be like, hey, time to put paint down or plaster, and they're gonna be like, okay, you should do this like bumpy ass wall because it's gonna save you money on your energy bill, and it doesn't. It might, but it will be so like it'll be so freaking small that you won't really notice it ever, and it makes your walls look dirty. And the real reason that they're asking you to do that is because they use this brush to do it, and it's significantly easier to plaster with the brush than smooth, to make it look bumpy than it is to make it look smooth, and it takes them less time. but it's not going to cost them more materials. So always opt for the smooth wall. It just looks so much better. It looks clean, it always looks clean, and it's a better backdrop for you. Also, if you do have it in your house, I am so sorry. It is a total bitch to get rid of. You have to like sand your whole house down, and it makes probably the biggest mess of any home improvement project you could have. So I am so sorry if you're already stuck with this issue, but yeah, if you're building a house or resurfacing a house or whatever, just make sure you don't let your contractors do that. And finally, number one is, this one is, I see almost 80% of people make this mistake. When you're at Home Depot, right, it's so incredibly easy to pick the paint that stands out to you. You want to do the opposite. It is picking oversaturated colors. Everybody does this because it's so, when you're at Home Depot and you see it at a wall with like 600 colors on it, people try to pick one that kind of stands out. You want to pick the one that is the last one that you see, because your walls should not scream at you. Your walls should be a backdrop, and they should emphasize everything else in your room. It's kind of like a boy dancer. If you ever see, I always say when you're dancing, the guy is there to make the girl look better. Your wall is like the guy. He's not there to be seen. He's there to improve the girl, which is everything else in your room. So make sure that you don't pick an oversaturated color. This goes for wallpaper. It's okay on wallpaper to pick out, have a muted wallpaper that has some bright things in it, like a bright flower here and there. That's okay, but you don't want to have, or like when a lot of people have like the trophy wall or whatever, it's like the one wall in the room that's a different color. Even those, like, you can go a dark color for those, but they should not be saturated. And what I mean by that is they should have more black and white in them than they do have green, red, blue, red, and yellow in them. So blue, red, and yellow are our three colors. Black and white are non-colors. Saturated, if you have a paint scale that's more saturated, and you won't let me stop petting him without crying. If you have a paint color that's more saturated, it's going to be closer to these three colors, and if you have one that's less saturated, it's going to be closer to these three colors. So like when you're picking tan, for example, if it kind of looks like peanut butter, don't get it. It should look more like a cottage cream. It shouldn't look like peanut butter. That's too dark and too saturated. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Oh, look at Blue. We actually found somebody who might want to adopt him, and they're going to come see him this Sunday. And he's going to have a great family because he's going to get to go to work with them every day. And I know they're going to fall in love with him. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave comments of ideas for future videos that you want to see from me. I'm always open to new ideas. Again, thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. I realized I was looking at my house and I'm like, wow, this apartment literally has every single thing that I listed is wrong with it. Like the trim is too small, has the horrible popcorn. They went tan and they didn't pick a cool white to contrast it. You should see the wall in my living room. It's like puke orange. Whoever decided to paint that wall, I have no clue what they were thinking.